All right, my friends, we are winning. Let me share with you this article from CNBC, which just shocks me to no end. Actually, I was I was amazed to see this. This is just this morning. These surprising spending truths could upend your retirement. How much you will spend will have a big impact on how well you live in retirement, according to J.P. Morgan. What many retirees do not realize is that spending during their retirement years will fluctuate and sometimes dramatically. In order to best plan for your golden years, you need to be realistically understanding that your income needs will change, particularly in the early years, as unexpected expenses will crop up. All right, so this is from Lori Konish. I'm using a new Mac. This is my new Mac. I'm trying to see. Oh, look at that. Sweet. So just it's probably not going to be as pretty as my other one because I got to get used to this, but I like it. All right. So here's Lori, and this is dated Dateline March 6th, just the other day. All right. So there's one key message you've inevitably heard when it comes to planning for retirement. Save, save, save. Yes, a guy posted on the YouTube channel yesterday said, I went to talk to a couple of financial advisors, and they all said the same thing, which was save more and work longer. I said, man, that is great financial advice. Get out of here. Now it turns out, though, how you spend money during your golden years could have as much, if not more, of an impact on how well you live, according to research from J.P. Morgan. This conclusion comes from the firm's analysis of more than 5 million Chase accounts. And I don't know if I like that so much. It's because, J.P. Morgan Chase are going to be more the hoity-toity places, shall we say. They're certainly not going to be where your old buddy Josh is from, Peaks Island, Maine. But be it as it may, they got 5 million accounts they're analyzing. And I also don't like it because I wonder if they actually have explicit permission to analyze those accounts and report back. Obviously, the data they're using is not... we don't know who the people are they're talking about, but I don't like it, man. Just in this day and age, banks, J.P. Morgan using your info to have assets reporting, and just now if they got explicit permission, that's one thing. That's why I like the BLS numbers from the Consumer Expenditure Survey, because that is explicitly granted from each and every consumer. All right. And as the results show that because the money that goes out fluctuates, traditional retirement rules of thumb may not always apply. That includes the old widely cited 4% rule, which is aimed at providing a steady withdrawal rate that can provide income throughout retirement. Whoa, who knew? What? The widely cited 4% rule, traditional rule of thumb for retirement, may not apply? That's crazy talk. Man, I love it. It includes income replacement. It also includes income per target replacement targets. Typically, those state that if you have enough of your lifetime total pre-retirement income saved, say 70 or 80%, you should be good to go. Those rules of thumbs are no longer applicable. Now, Catherine Roy, which I presume is her, she says, we see an increase in spending as people prepare for a transition into retirement. That surge or volatility is much greater than we had thought. And those behaviors could upend traditional savings rules, says J.P. Morgan. I actually agree with that. I think you're probably going to spend more the initial part of your retirement. Like I'm looking at the back deck right now. We'd love to get that screened in. If we stay here in Georgia, we'd probably pay for that once we retire to get screened in so we can sit back out there and enjoy a fall day with some coffee and tea without the mosquitoes eating us alive. That'd be wonderful. And that'd probably be an expenditure we do later on down the road. It's certainly not when we got kids in here, that's for sure. But I can see that. Also, a lot of people say, hey, I have a good friend of mine whose husband died. Sad, but they were able to take that trip to Germany and Norway and things like that right when she retired before he died. And it was just happened to be, thankfully, that they were able to do it because, he did die and they were able to get on that trip and spend a lot of money. And now he's gone, and it's kind of her, and she's grateful for that time with him for sure. So I can absolutely see them. People say, we're hanging up our boots. Let's go spend a little bit more on things we've been wanting to do. Your calculations of what you'll spend may be flawed. Yeah, you think? Calculations on what you spend may be flawed. Chances are, as you age, you will not spend as much money. Let's see. But you have certain but as you project certain constants, such as a weekly grocery bill, you may not have the most accurate calculations. That is because you likely not buy the same items as your needs change. What's more, inflation will play a big role in how much you have to spend. That makes it more likely your estimates will be off. As a result, you could wrongly estimate the effects of inflation on your future spending needs. I agree with that. But I don't know how else you change it. I mean, if you put a 5%, that's a tough one there. So I just use a 3, standard ballpark, or SOP, standard operating procedure. That could lead you to make the wrong retirement decisions when it comes to whether to keep working, put off spending, or invest too aggressively in equities. A better solution, according to JP Morgan, would be to consider your changing needs and inflation on a category by category basis, such as food, housing, transportation, and travel. And I would throw in healthcare costs, and those are the big 5. Housing, number 1, food, number 2, transportation, number 3, other, number 4, healthcare costs, number 5. As you progressively get older, the number 1 is still housing by far. The other 4 jockey for number 2, with healthcare becoming a close number 2 relative to the other 3, 4, and 5 categories. But those are the top 5, and they change every single year. But housing always remains number 1. You'll likely spend more at the start of retirement. I agree with that. I 100% agree. Consequently, withdrawal strategies, so to anticipate that you may spend more early on. Because of that, you should be careful how much equity risk to take early in retirement. I want to say one thing I want to talk about. This is why I say that, if you think let's just say you're 58 years old and you think you're retire at 60, Social Security isn't kicking in yet, you don't have a pension. I actually think it's a good idea to maybe defer putting your 401k contributions into your stocks or bonds and actually put it into cash. Try to build up 3 years of cash. So if you're 58, you say, man, I'm going to go like a crazy man, build up my cash, a stable value fund or something like that. So that way when you hit 60, you got 2 to 3 years of living expenses just on cash. You don't have to worry about the stocks. You're not going to take Social Security. You'll be less inclined to take Social Security earlier, simply because the stocks hopefully will accommodate the growth. I don't know, but I'm a big fan of doing that, my friends. You build up cash reserves as much as you possibly can, 2 to 3 years before you retire. And because don't forget, the money that you put into the stocks, that you're not doing that anymore. The opportunity cost is minimal, because stocks, the beauty of stocks is a compounding growth over decades. 2 or 3 years, you put in $10,000, it grows 8%. That's $800. I mean, I hate to say, but whoop-de-doo. The money that you've already accumulated in the stocks, the money that you leave in there, those compounding interests will really pay dividends. And that's what you want to do, absolutely, bar none. You want to say, look, I am saving the next couple of years. I'm not going to get much growth on this money anyway, because the compounding interest won't be there much, because I'm going to take this money out when I retire. Load up on your cash account, load up on your cash, allow your equities to continue on, and man, that's a good place to be. And just remember, if JP Morgan talks, we all listen. Remember that old E.F. Hutton thing? But they say right there, I love it. This includes the traditional retirement rules of thumb may not always apply to include the traditional 4% rule and the total pre-retirement income rule at 70 to 80%. May not be applicable anymore. Oh, man, has JP Morgan been watching my videos? I love it, man. So don't forget to comment, thumbs up, the whole thing. It's the 4 S's. Subscribe, share, say your piece down below, and smash the like button. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks now.